Good to be back. Okay, I'm Dr. Yasapa. Welcome everyone. For those of you who may be new, you don't know me, I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. All right. So welcome to the free astrotheology course. Let me get myself situated here. I just got my order. Our textbook for the class is The Devil's Pulpit, and the author is Robert Taylor. All right, the link to the free PDF is in the description area of this video, along with links to the Ancient Ibaryath books that I wrote and I published. Everyone, I'd like for you to buy them. Of course, I want you to get educated. Hold on. My flame went out. Hold on. Am I? So let me show y'all what I have. This is velvet tea. I've never tried this before, but I gotta lay off the coffee. I don't want to drink coffee as much. Am I? Can you, all right, man, thanks. Okay, so, yeah, I got to lay off the coffee. This appears to be dry, I don't know. Dry ginger with powdered sugar. It's popular here, but and then I have honey. So I like to drink my drinks with honey. Anyway, so we're on a new topic today, scholars. A new chapter, which is a good one. Which is a really good one. Oh, by the way, what I would really like for you guys to remember about the temple, Jeremiah, is it 6 verse 7? Let me check it. But I want you guys to remember about that when we look at the etymology of the word. The etymology of temple tells a whole story. Okay, so this is the devil's pulpit, the temple, Jeremiah 6 verse 4. Okay, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these. Well, it just so happens that that temple of the Lord, the temple is in fact a constellation. The temple of the Lord, of course, is Aries. You scholars should remember that. Aries is called Gad, without going into detail with it. But what I would like for you to also focus on is that temple also means time. Also means time, as in Aries, as in the equinoxes, as in everybody gets 12 hours of daylight, everybody gets 12 hours of night. So equal length of day and nighttime hours for everybody. That's time. Time. That is justice. Isn't it interesting? Y'all heard the phrase, you're doing time? Now we kind of get a better understanding of where that comes from. You're doing time. Justice is supposed to be being served. Y'all got it? Time, justice. Temple, time. Templar. Templar, time, as in Knights Templar. Y'all got it? As in Knights Templar. Okay? And then Son of Righteousness is connected to that. When the sun is at the equinoxes, the S-U-N sun, that's the Son of Righteousness, right? That's the Son of Righteousness that has the wings. Did you see it? What Bible verse is that, y'all? Is it Malachi? I don't remember, but y'all can Google it. The sun with wings of righteousness or something like that. So keep that in mind. Okay? Now, our ancient ancestors built these megalithic structures that were converted into cathedrals and churches. They were used for observation and study of the celestial bodies, natural phenomena, to try to figure out how they affected life here on Earth. And of course, natural phenomena on Earth, including the seasons and things that have to do with weather and climate, etc. Okay? So that study, that facility were those who were concerned with the study of law and the adjudication of justice. These, I guess you would say, hallowed areas were called temples. It had nothing to do with religion. So the temple deals with law. Natural law, right? Not harming anybody. The physical laws, the laws of consciousness. All right? Everybody see that? Remixed into a religion. In fact, not just religion, but natural phenomena remixed into moral stuff, moral issues. And it had absolutely nothing to do with morality. So y'all go back and watch that video I did on the tree of the knowledge of good and bad. And you're going to learn more about that. All right? So anyway, that's all I have in terms of a review. Just remember, time, equinoxes, 12 hours of day and night for everybody, justice, fairness, equity, the temple, right? The temple, not just in your brain, but where these men and men with wombs would study law and how to administer law fairly, without showing favoritism. That was the temple. Okay? And the temple of the Lord, well, that's what? In London. El on Don, London, on Mars Hill. Mars is the god that was in charge of, I believe it's May. Okay, at the Areopagus, page 99. All right? Okay, now let's get into the chapter on the, by the way, so time, justice, equity, fairness, law. Where do you study law? Right? Where do you study law? Not statutes and policies. Law. Not statutes, codes, and policies, but law. Y'all see the difference? Law. All right. Anyway, so we move on to the chapter on the unjust judge. This is sermon number 8, page 113. Sermon number 8, page 113. The unjust judge. So y'all, this chapter is going to present to you a different way of looking at this story. Not just a different way, but a realistic way, a practical way. Because y'all have been given, let me include myself in that, we have been given a remix. So my fire keeps going out because of the wind. So I'm not going to trouble them with coming to light it. Oh man, I put too much honey. Dang it. Oh well. Anyway, and as usual, they didn't bring me the things that I need. So it's almost automatic if you serve someone tea, you bring them a spoon, right? Am I? You have to be careful in Asia because the people seem so passive and meek, but it's a lot of this at the back. All right, this is not a fist; it's a knife. But the taste is good. All right. This is why I'm gonna tell you that the people they have here serving look like young men in their early 20s. And in my opinion, the young men should not be involved in the service business because they'll run your customers away. But that's just my experience having to deal with young men in the service industry. Am I? See, he heard me and he walked away. See what I mean? Hey yo, I need a spoon, please. I need a spoon.
Okay.
Yeah, a spoon. That's okay. All right, thanks. But this would be cool if you're inside, or if it wasn't so windy. It'd be pretty cool, right? You could meditate off that. Anyway, so let's take a look at this. Remember, we're dealing with the gospel, so that's duplicity, dualism. Thank you. So we're dealing with dualism. All right. And so the texts have dual meanings. One for the inner house, the master class, the creditors. And then the other meaning for the common people on the outside. For example, if you're on the inside, you would have been one of the apostles. All right? If you're on the outside, you're everybody else. Okay? So there's a meaning that those people get. All right? And that's dogma. Dogma. Okay? That's dogma. And keep in mind that dog spelled backward is God. All right? Okay, let's get into it. The unjust judge, delivered by His Highness Chaplain, the Reverend Robert Taylor, B.A., at the Rotunda, Blackfriars Road. Okay, so for sure that street was named after Moors, right? It's an insult. Blackfriars, so the friars must have been, or at least initially, Moors. And to degrade them, Blackfriars Road, right? Sermon was given on January 30th, 1831. 1831. Okay? And y'all think about it. Bleached out, pale. That's like the salt, as it were, the saltiness being taken out of the salt. You've been weakened. So to call them more black is to say that you don't have the substance anymore. The salt is no longer salty. See, you're washed out. You're pale now. Y'all get it? That just came to my mind. You're without power. And of course, that was when we were conquered, defeated. And you know how someone who's not used to winning, how they gloat? Whereas someone who's a winner, used to winning, you don't gloat about it, right? It's expected, not a big deal. So it tells us something about the mindset of the hybrid. But anyway, It's a nice little set. I'd like to have this at home. Okay, y'all, let's get into it. So the text is coming from Luke chapter 18, verse 1. All right, or at least based on Luke chapter 18, verse 1. Quote, unquote. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought to always pray. Y'all got that? And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought to always pray, and not to faint. In other words, don't cower out and pass out. Pray. Saying, there was in a city a judge who feared not man, neither regarded man. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not for a while. That means the judge wouldn't do anything. The judge just totally ignored her. But afterward, the judge said within himself, though I fear not God, nor regard men, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she shall weary me. Luke chapter 18, verse 1. All right, y'all. I got a notification that my connection was lost. I don't know if y'all heard anything I said, but I'll keep trying. So let me try this, y'all. So this is a glass of ice, and I put the tea in it that's mixed with honey. Y'all know this is a good way to teach your children, your heirs rather, chemistry. For those of you who don't know, or maybe you're not aware rather, that when you prepare these delicious drinks and delicious meals, that's chemistry. And maybe you thought you couldn't do or were not good in chemistry. All along, you happen to be good in chemistry. Okay? All right, so let's continue. Let's make it do what it do. Well, sirs, this is gospel. It is an exhibition of divine character as purporting to be set forth by Christ himself. It is the parable of the unjust judge, and it is delivered to us under the solemn command of Christ, quote unquote. Hear what the unjust judge saith. All right? At the same time, it must be borne in remembrance that this parable is but one of a pair. There is a fellow to it. So there's another parable that goes with this, to be placed side by side with this parable in the 16th chapter of this gospel. So in the 16th chapter of Luke, which bears the title, The Parable of the Unjust Steward. In the two together, we have an harmonious exhibition of what? On gospel principles, the character of God is supposed to be. Y'all got that? Do you understand? That's the whole hook, or that's the basis, or the foundation of everything that we're going to read right now. So you must consider this with your analytical mind. So it's important to understand the primary issue here, which is this parable came out of Jesus, the Christ figure's mouth himself. Therefore, it speaks to the character of Jesus and the Tetragrammaton, right? I and my Father are one. He that has seen me has seen the Father. Jesus is the Father, made manifest in the flesh, right? And he stayed faithful. Okay, so let me read this again. So in the two parables together, the unjust judge and the unjust steward, that is, we have a harmonious exhibition of what? On gospel principles. All right, y'all got that? On gospel principles. Okay, on gospel principles. We have hermetic laws, we have hermetic principles. They're the same things, right? We have our principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Those are principles. Now we're talking about the gospel principles, the character of God, of Zeus, of Sirius, of Odin, of Woden, of the magicians, the magi, the magistrates, etc. Okay? So we are putting the gospel principles, the character of God, on trial in this chapter. Do y'all hear me? The character of God is supposed to be, which is that of an unjust judge. Let me repeat that. In the two together, we have a harmonious exhibition of what? On gospel principles, the character of God is supposed to be. We can look at the gospel principles and we can see God's character. We can see Zeus's character. We can see Izeus's character. We can see Odin, Woden, Thoth, all of these beings. We can see their character by looking at these gospel principles, particularly at this time, the parable of the unjust judge, and later of the unjust steward. Y'all hear me? Don't get scared. Don't get scared and run. Sit here and listen and learn. Ain't nobody gonna get you. Ain't nobody gonna tell your pastor or elder or general that you listening to this. Ain't nobody gonna tell on you. Just don't put anything in the comments. Or make you a fake email, make you another YouTube account so nobody won't know you. You don't have nothing to be scared of. All right? Nobody gonna say you backslide. Nobody's gonna ostracize you, right? I understand all about that. Now let's continue. And what the character of a Christian is supposed to be. Now, the Christian character should tightly reflect Christ's character. Right? The Christian character should closely or tightly reflect Christ and the Tetragrammaton's character. Oh, but y'all know the Christian's character is horrible. Y'all already know it. Y'all already know the Christian's character is horrible, along with the Hebrew Israelites too. And I'm not talking about all. I'm talking generally speaking. When you think of a Christian, you know what comes to mind. Don't get mad. You know what comes to mind. When you think of a Hebrew Israelite, don't get mad, but you know what comes to mind. And it ain't pretty. All right, let's continue. All right. So where were we? Oh, okay. So in the two together, we have a harmonious exhibition of what? On gospel principles, the character of God is supposed to be, which is that of an unjust judge. Y'all got that? The unjust judge represents the Tetragrammaton, who is Jesus in the flesh. The unjust judge represents the tetragrammaton in this parable. All right? In other words, the unjust judge is God. All right? And what the character of a Christian is supposed to be, which is that of an unjust steward. Y'all got that? Yes. Yes. The steward is supposed to be the Christian in that parable. And both are unjust. But I know y'all have been given the debtor, civilly dead, Goyim, Maritime Admiralty, Catholic, Christian canon, corporate, what else can I say? Mix, remix, or meaning, or doctrine, dogma of these two parables. See, most people never look at it the way we just looked at it. And we ain't even got out of the second paragraph. And we got these Christians and this God on trial. And through their words, they're convicting or showing the evidence against themselves, right? Right? Now, if think about it, why would you depict yourself in a negative light? Shouldn't it be the steward, the just steward, or the just judge? But anyway, let's not tarry long on that. Let's continue. A pretty brass of game. Ain't that the truth? They running game. To be dished up to the relish of our moral appetite. So here we are dealing with morality again, so you should already know something wrong. Why? Because it's dealing with morality, right? Morality is a non-issue. The issue in nature, the issue in law, is whether you harm someone, including yourself, or not. All right, y'all. Now let's keep going. Page 114, scholar. Hey, y'all, share the video, okay? Share the video, please. The unjust steward robbed his master. The unjust steward robbed his master. Now, this is the character of what a Christian is supposed to be. All right? How many Christians do y'all know out here trying to get that bag, as they say, and will do anything to get that bag? Even do what they know is wrong, knowingly harm somebody, but they always have a good excuse, right, to justify it. Taking something that doesn't belong to them. The unjust steward robbed his master, and the Lord commended the unjust steward, congratulated him, praised him, because he had done wisely. He robbed him wisely. He robbed him in a way where he wouldn't get caught. So he done it wisely. And the unjust judge gave sentence without hearing cause. Let me repeat that. The unjust judge gave sentence without hearing cause, and hanged the guiltless rather than eat his mutton cold. His mutton is his lamb. He didn't want his food to get cold. So he just passed judgment on an innocent man right? He doesn't know if he's innocent or guilty. So you're innocent until you're proven guilty, right? But that's just how much he cares about justice and how concerned he is about that man and his heirs and his consort and his kinfolk and the community. He doesn't give a damn about them, right, y'all? Y'all see it? Now, think about it. Think about it. You are civilly dead. Most of y'all are civilly dead right now, right? You're still in the 14th Amendment status. You're still in Christianity or Hebrew Israelitism. You're still worshiping these external deities. Believe in these religious doctrines. Somebody asks you your nationality, you'll say, I'm black, or I'm a Baptist, or I'm a Christian. Okay? I mean, I'm not laughing at you, but I was once there. I can laugh about it, right? So, you walk into one of these venues purporting to be a court, a corporate venue. Are they going to give you due process of law? No. Are they going to presume they have jurisdiction over you? Yes. Yes. Are they going to honor the Constitution and the treaty? No. Are you going to invoke or enforce, rather, the Constitution and treaty? 99% of everybody watching this video, the answer is no. And those of you who could, or who had the nerve to do it and not get scared, you're not in a position to do it because you have contracts. Okay, you're under their protection. Y'all hear me? So when you look at the, I don't know if it's the 1901, what year is it, y'all, the Secretary of State letter, where the Secretary of State was discussing nationality amongst the Moors, the Almoroccan Empire, our people at that time. Basically what he said was that Moorish subjects, that means that you had already lost your nationality. Okay, so we're talking about people who already lost their nationality. Moorish subjects lost their nationality by being protected by entities, countries, Christian powers, nations that are in treaty relationship with the Moorish Empire. Y'all see it? By having or being under the protection of a nation or nation state, Christian powers that were in treaty relations with the Moorish Empire. So those protections come in various ways. For example, like a driver's license or any of the licenses, right? Any of those licenses constitute protection. In other words, you're their chattel property. You know, like you protect your property, right? You protect your property, so you'll be able to use it. Okay? So that's how those Moorish subjects lost their nationality. Y'all hear me? So when you roll up here in one of these corporate venues, in your 14th Amendment status, what is that judge going to do to you? Well, he's going to execute the justice outlined in the gospel upon you. Right? He is an unrighteous judge. Those are the principles. That's the character of the god, of Zeus, of Isis, of Odin, of Woden. By the way, I'll come back to that. That's his character. Unrighteousness, duplicity. Yeah, you think you got rights, but you don't. Right? And that's what they do. They do the Christian thing to you, which is to deny you due process of law. And, what happened? Okay, all right. To deny you due process of law. To pretend like they don't know anything about Moorish nationality, the Constitution, diversity of citizenship, the treaty. They pretend like they don't know anything about that. Why? We're getting into it. These are the principles. That's the character of these magicians, these magi, these magistrates wearing the black robe when you walk into their venue. Y'all hear me? The unjust steward robbed his master. And the Lord commended the unjust steward because he had done wisely. The unjust hybrid, the unjust colonist robbed the Moor. The unjust colonist, the hybrid, the pauper, the vagabond, robbed the Moor, escheated the Moor, attainder the Moor. Let the congregation hear what the Spirit is saying. The unjust steward. Steward, y'all. What does the treaty say? What does the treaty say? It's between Article 21, 22, and 23. If my memory serves me correctly. But if there is no will present, if there's no will, let's say you are civilly dead, there's no one to claim, there's no rightful heir, competent heir to claim your stuff. Guess who takes it? Guess who takes it? For some reason, I don't remember the term that was used in the treaty. I don't remember the exact term that was used in the treaty. But anyway, that's them acting, that's where they act as the foe for y'all. Okay? But when you nationalize and you start your path to return to the Most High by following the instructions given to us by our ancestors, that's the law, y'all. That is the law. Natural law, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. I know I say it all the time, but it is what it is. And when you become a competent heir, now you can come claim your stuff back. Reversion of estate. Y'all see it? But right now, it's in the hands of these unrighteous stewards who are robbing, escheating, attaining their masters, the Moors, the rightful heirs. And the Lord commended the unjust steward because he had done wisely. All right, some people are really impressed by the way the hybrids created or remixed natural law into statutory and corporate policy and codes. Some people are really, some people say that that's like a type of statistic genius. So the God that the steward serves, the Jesus of the gospel, the tetragrammaton of the gospel, is a wicked, evil, intentionally deceitful being. And I'm being kind by using those words. All right, so their God commends them for what they're doing, for shipping you in the good ship, shipping you off in the good ship Jesus into religion, putting you in a civilly dead state so that they can live off of your inheritance, and so that they can live off of your energy. All right? So they're commended for it. Obviously, right? Isn't that the curses? Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 through 68. Isn't that the curses? Y'all? And the unjust judge gave sentence without hearing the cause. Shut up, this is my courtroom. You say something else, I'm going to lock you up. And then you wind up getting locked up anyway and paying a whole bunch of fines. Shut up. Right? That's the way it goes down when you walk in there. Without the protection of our ancestors, meaning that you are not in your proper status as a Moorish American. You go in there and you get dogged out. Oh man, it's raining again. We've had horrible weather these last several days. It's like typhoon kind of weather. Y'all hear me? So you go in there and you get dogged out. And they making money off of your private prisons. See, this is the unjust judge and the unjust steward. They're working together in the oppression of the Moors. Today. Who do you think makes these policies? Prosecutors, right? Prosecutors will, you know, get a position higher and higher all the way up until they get to be in the House or the Senate. Some of them will become the president. But these are the unjust judges. They're also stewards, right? They're supposed to be what? Managing our estates? Managing our estates until we come back? But look at what they've done. They try to take it and then kill us off. Exterminate us, genocide us out. So there are your unjust judges and unjust stewards today. What do? They become heads of corporations, and what do? Hit you with bills of attainder all day long, mortgages, traffic tickets, pay for the electricity, the water, everything else, and they got us in a frame of mind where we think it's normal. We think it's normal. Not knowing that it's our estate. All of it belongs to us, and you're gonna Make me pay for it? Y'all see the change of the mindset that we have to undergo? Anyway, let's continue. So here it says, and the unjust judge gave sentence without hearing cause. It made a presumption, right? The presumption that you are a goyim, 14th Amendment. Okay? Saying, quote unquote, I care neither for God nor man. So government ordinances, dogs, imaginary people like Zeus, etc. He said, I don't care about it. Why? Because I'm on the inside of the house. They're not real. You think they're real. So he doesn't care about them. And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith. And so say I, for God's sake, for Zeus's sake, for Ilus's sake, for truth and for virtue's sake. Well, y'all better look at the opposite. Look at the opposite. For truth, no, think lie. Okay, for virtue, don't think virtue. You think anything that's scandalous. Okay? Quote unquote. Hear what the unjust judge saith. And wonder no more at the state of morals in a Christian country. Now, y'all, that was in 1830 when he gave this speech. In fact, January 30th, 1831 rather, when he gave this sermon. He said, look at the state of morals in the Christian country. When these are the examples and exhibitions of moral perfection, which Christianity itself has consecrated. Y'all know Christians, well, look at the Christian countries. See, some of y'all gonna get mad. But look at the Christian countries. Look how greedy they are. All they care about is money. Everything is measured in terms of money. Y'all see that? Everything is measured in terms of the economy. Everything is measured upon what? War. War. Look how they pit peoples against each other. Look how they use public policy to dominate the Moors. Look how they use mind games, psychic attacks to destroy people mentally and their kinfolk and their community and the people as a whole. These are Christian countries. The UK is a Christian country. The US is a Christian country. Canada is a Christian country. Who else can we name? Look at Israel. Okay, Judeo-Christian, Jewish, right? Same thing. These are the warmongers on earth. I mean, am I telling the truth or am I lying? This is Christianity. Well, don't get mad and walk away because you don't like what you're hearing. Sit here and take it. All right? Sit here and take it. It'll do you some good. Take a good look at yourself. Take a really good look at yourself. As hard as that might be to do. You're probably one of the people watching this that's guilty of everything I'm talking about. All right? For those who are in the higher ranks of life, our aristocrats, the oligarchy, the lords, and hereditary masters. Okay, these would be those elite families, the Rothschilds, etc., the Clintons, now the Obamas, etc. But those are the ones that are in the front. The even more powerful ones, nobody knows their names, right? The most godlike example proposed to their observance is to teach them to be indifferent to the petitions of the people. Y'all got that? These elites are taught to not give a damn about you. Okay, so they're going to kick you out of your home. They say you haven't paid the mortgage and you got to go. But the elites know it's a scam. The judge knows it's a scam. The people in the home loan industry, many at the top, probably all of them at the top, knows that it's a scam, knows that it's unlawful. But yet they're taught to do it, and they continue to do it, and they do it gladly. And then they're willing to crash the whole economy based on this fraud. Housing prices are crashing, and it has a ripple effect through the whole economy. Or interest rates. People can't pay the mortgage, right? So everybody's suffering on a fraud. All right? So they are taught to be indifferent to the petitions of the people. The petitions of the people is give me a break. I'll pay it. I just can't pay it now. Or help me get a better job. Y'all see what I'm saying? They don't know that this is their estate and they don't need to be paying, but those corporations should be paying us to use our land and resources and energy. It should be reversed, right? Now let's continue. Never to think of the right or the reason of it, but only to get rid of the bother. Okay? They don't think about whether it's just or unjust, whether they should put an end to all of this unlawful dealings going on with mortgages and traffic tickets and all of this stuff, utility bills and all of this stuff. They don't think about that. No. Why should they? See, because that's how they're living large, off of your back. That's what Christ meant when the apostle said to him, when the apostle asked Christ, why do you speak to the people in parables all the time? What did Christ say? He said, I speak to the people in parables because if I ever told them and they understood me, they'd have a chance to repent. And if they repent, they can be saved. So what is this saying? Christ was telling the apostles, well, I want them to be dead. I don't want them to get saved. Christ said, you're my apostles. You get this information. I'm going to tell y'all all the secrets, all the mysteries of the kingdom of God. I'm going to tell it all to you. And you can repent. And you can be saved. Okay? But the people on the outside, no. Why? Because unless you have the people on the outside in a dead state, you're going to have to do work yourself. You're not going to have them to live off of. But as long as Christ keeps them dead or civilly dead, with no opportunity to gain their birthright again, they will always be debtors. And the secret society members will always be creditors. And so there's a master-slave relationship. Y'all see it? The people on the outside of the house are the servants. They're given religious dogma, a job, and a lifespan just long enough for them to do the work. that you need them to do. All right? That's what Christ meant. That's why he did not tell them the secrets to the mysteries of the kingdom of God. Because if he did, they could what? They can become creditors, masters. In other words, they can get their nationality back. All right? They can then enforce the Constitution and the treaty between the United States of North America and the Al-Moroccan Empire. Y'all see that? So no, I got this image of Jesus. He's actually a giant. He's standing up, his head, the clouds are here. His head is above the clouds. His feet are on the ground. He's reaching down to the Apostle John, and he's got a Moor, the head of a Moor, in the palm of his hand. He's giving it to the Apostle John. All right? Who appears to be a hybrid. And then the Apostle John is reaching up into the sky toward Jesus' hand, and he has a letter. Looks like a bill of exchange or something in his hand. It's not a Bible scroll. It's not a scripture. So Jesus has the Moor in the palm of his hand. And y'all know that's not a good thing, right? When somebody got you in the palm of their hand. That means that you're what? You're under their control psychologically. You're defenseless against them. You believe, and you do anything they ask or tell you to do. Y'all see it? That book comes out of a red book called The Revelation, Its Grand Climax. I think that's the name of it. Published by Jehovah's Witnesses. All right? Y'all can Google search it, and you'll find it. Okay? Anyway, let's continue. All right, so let's continue. Okay, so the most godlike example proposed to their observance is to teach them to be indifferent, just like the unjust judge was indifferent toward the man who he convicted and sentenced, right? Didn't care anything about him. Indifferent to the positions of the people, to act from no consideration but of their own convenience. But of their own convenience. Did y'all hear what's his name in South Africa? Malema, something like that, complaining. It was all over YouTube about some judge who comes to court. They've been going through some case for 5 years, he said, and this judge comes to court 2-4 hours late every time they have a court date, right? And if ever they do attend to a position, never to think of the right or reason of it, but only to get rid of the bother. They're not interested in justice. It has nothing to do with justice. They want to get you out of their hair, even if it means political kidnapping. And y'all know what I'm talking about. And anyway, when they kidnap Moors, they're kidnapping, they're demanding a ransom, right? They're demanding a ransom, a payment. You got to give them some Federal Reserve notes, rather, in order to get out. So these are the unjust stewards, how they are taking advantage, abusing their masters. Y'all see it? Hold on. All right. So let's continue. For those who are in inferior and dependent situation, that would be many, many mores. The proposed example is that they should rob their employers. Y'all got that? And cheat and swindle so dexterously that if they should ultimately be found out, their employers themselves should own they did it cleverly. Now, I see the point he's making here. I see the point. The emphasis is on getting money, getting fiat, getting the bag, no matter what you got to do to it, even if it involves harming, injuring your heirs or your kinfolk or your nation. It's justifiable. But I disagree with this business about stealing, robbing your employer. Y'all know what would happen if one of us robbed an employer, right? Y'all know what would happen. No, what this text has to do with, what this text, from my point of view, has to do with are the inner house, those people who are in the inner house, be they in a judge, be they in elected office, or working in a corporation, okay? Or whether or not, let's say they're, I said elected office, so whether they're a judge, city council, mayor, county commissioner, all the way up to the federal level. This is how they're supposed to behave. Persecute the Moors. That's the Inquisition, right? And when they're working for a job, for a company, or if they have an own business, cheat and swindle. And if you get caught, if there is another, let's say Freemason, who's involved in your case, okay, they're going to help their brother. Let's say a Freemason in the company before it gets to court, or in the court, they're going to help their Freemason brother. So yes, cheat and swindle. You ain't got to worry, because they're going to put the blame on somebody else. Most likely a more. Just like Jesus did. When he ran off and escaped being crucified and allowed another man to be crucified in his stead. Most likely it was Simon the Cyrenian, according to the book The Devil's Pulpit, okay, who would have been a Moor. That's the example. That's the principle. That's the morality. That's the character. That is the play. The gospel is the playbook on how these secret society members can rob, cheat, steal, terrorize, and everything else that's dirty and nasty and ugly, and get away with it and blame it on somebody else. That's the playbook. Okay, that's the double meaning, the other meaning, which is not what you got. All right? But when you understand this, it explains everything about the character of these Christians and Christian nations. Now y'all tell me I'm lying. Put it in the comment section. If I'm lying, I'm flying. What do you think? Tell me I'm lying. Put it in there. Look at the character of these Hebrew Israelite Christians. Look at them in the street. And the first thing out of their mouth would be Christ was an austere person, an austere man. Well, yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. And now we see why, right, y'all? Now we see why. All right, now let's continue. Page 114, continue. And this is gospel morality, the finest system of morals that was ever delivered to man. Y'all got that? This is a joke. The purest, the sublimest, the quote unquote, where will you find anything equal to the morals of the gospel? Calculated to make us just exactly what we are. A holy nation, a peculiar people, zealous of good works, and as far as this sort of morality has influence in society, society must necessarily and eternally consist of a set of lordly and oppressive tyrants. Y'all got that? Lordly and oppressive tyrants. So what is this? What is this, y'all? Is this not what we see in North America? What we what's the fascism? We got a big dose of that, didn't we? Feudalism, right? With these hybrids and their Moorish minions hiding in the dark behind the bushes called a fofer, hiding behind being attorneys to attorn you, to attorn your estate rather, to come in your face, pretend like they like you and like they're trying to help you, and then carry you off to the unjust judge and get you to sign away your estate without even knowing it. Or trick you, scam you into thinking that you're buying a house, and you don't know that in the documentation they tell you sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here. You don't know that written in there is a clause, or a phrase rather, that says you're giving it to them as a gift. And I believe it's in French. For some reason, the word is not coming to me. But when it comes to me, I share it. It's in French. But this is what your attorneys do to you, and your licensed real estate agents do to you. All right? And what the unjust judges do, every last one of them is an unjust judge practicing perfectly the magic of the gospel. When you walk in there and they punk you out and dog you out and lock you up, well, that is exactly and perfectly according to the gospel. That's what you get as a Moorish subject. You get your ASS handed to you. As a what? As a punishment. As a punishment. Why? For being out of harmony with nature. For breaking the Most High's commandments. See, this is the Hermetic law of cause and effect, which is shining brightly on you in that incident. It's screaming at you, telling you, stop. Look around you, learn, find out who you is. Right? It makes you search. It makes you search. Right? You ain't gonna take too many punches in the eye, right? And then you start to want to learn about who you are, your nationality. All right? And who you are but nature. Okay? And this creative power that you so want to worship and please happens to be you. Not only in the flesh, but outside of the flesh. Watch the other videos that I've done if you want to learn more about that. You can also start learning about the Hermetic laws. nature, natural law. Learn about astronomy, astrology. Learn about astrotheology. You don't need me to learn this stuff. Okay? I mean, I learn it from other people. All right, let's continue. All right, these zealous works. Be zealous for good works. Do the opposite. Be zealous for opportunities to commit crimes, to rob people of their land and their resources, to rob people of their creations, to rob people of their inventions. Okay, this is duplistic, y'all. Duplicity, double meaning. Yeah, you be zealous for good work. And you're not going to suspect that they're zealous to rob you of your estate. They're zealous to get that brand new vehicle you just bought, or so you thought you bought. All right, y'all? They're zealous to go and get anything that has value without regard to law, without regard to morality. But they're going to keep you in the moral and ethical paradigm, right? Because you're on the outside. On the inside, it's the law of the jungle. Okay? Whatever you got to do, do it. They don't care if it's their mother, their brother, their own heir. They don't. Heartless. All right? But you cannot be aware of that, right? Because once that trust breaks down, the jig is up. Okay, once the trust breaks down and you start seeing these people for who they are, eventually you're going to not want to go to church no more. Right? And you're going to start questioning that. And once you lose faith in the church, well, their mechanism of oppression, of brainwashing, is over. Okay? It's over. You're on your way to becoming free, mentally free. Although you don't realize that you are in mental bondage right now. Right? Anyway, let's keep going. And as far as this sort of morality has influence in society, society must necessarily and eternally consist of a set of lordly and oppressive tyrants. These are your attorneys, judges, so-called judges, magistrates, executive leaders of corporations, religious leaders, okay? These people who are in the position of a fulfer, promoting the fiat system, all of that, y'all, okay? Having no sympathies with the people and no motive of action, but their own conveniences. Well, that makes perfect sense when you may say, how it's raining, hold on. You may say, how can they not have a motive? You may say, how can they not have a motive? Well, let me tell you how they cannot have a motive. Let me explain it. Let me explain it to you. Okay, they cannot have a motive because they've collected all the wealth. They have all the wealth. They have all the power. They have all the influence. So what do they have a motive for? The only thing that they don't have is complete control. They don't have complete control. Okay? So imagine somebody who has all the wealth, all the influence, all the power. Power is the ability to act. The only thing they don't have is 100% of the control. Imagine what their character is like. It's like a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old who doesn't get what they want. They just do stuff. And y'all think, not y'all, but I'm not talking to you personally, but I mean, most people think that they are highly organized, mechanistic, working together. No. It's not like that. Do they have organizations that they work through that are heavy into planning and implementation? Yes. But those are institutions. I'm not talking about the institutions. I'm talking about the people at the top. Their mentality is no different than some, let's say, very famous actor or athlete who gets a bunch of money and adulation. And then when you look at their heirs, they become drug addicts. Imagine what it's like dealing with people like that, right? They're in a position to harm you. You know, they may not like the way you look at them in their own head. And then they want to start attacking you at the back. And you don't know where it's coming from. Y'all see what I'm saying? Okay. And they ain't going to move a muscle until they get ready. All right? So that's what he's talking about. Doing things without a motive and when it's convenient for them. Okay? In the higher ranks, and a set of cunning rogues, Isaacs. So he's saying Isaac conned Esau out of his birthright, right? A set of cunning, tricky rogues. See, they ain't going to do no work. So they're going to sit here and think about how they can trick you out of something, right? The same way they tricked you out of your birthright. The same way they used banks and credit and corporations to trick our ancestors out of much of their estate. Okay? Cheats. Liars. Y'all know that it's true that the U.S. government has never kept any of the treaties that it had with the so-called Indians. And slaves in the lower. And even in modern times, y'all know that, y'all heard the stories about how the U.S. abandons its treaties, right? When they get what they want, their partner, they just dump them. Whatever happens to them, happens to them. Look then upon this picture, and on this I bring before you the master villain this evening, and shall serve you up the man on some other occasion. Wow, y'all. Tune in next time when I go through this again. I'm going to try to find some time to go through the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1836, that I spoke about earlier, so I can at least have some of the key words in my mind when we talk about this. I'm going to try to find time to do it between now and the next time I do the video. All right? But tune in, y'all, because y'all see this as being good. It has application for us today. I like the way the author said this. He says, I bring before you the master villain. I bring before you the master villain, and shall serve you up the man on another occasion. So that's a great way to end this video. Shalom and Islam to all the Moors. Thanks, y'all, for supporting my project to write the book of the law in Ancient Ibaryath and modern English, to show you in that book the etymological meaning of each word in the book of the law. And y'all know that's a big project, right? And to give you not just the etymological meanings, but to put back the astrology, the astronomy, the constitutional principles, and also, of course, to show you the hermetic laws. All right, and much more. So y'all look in the description area of the video if you want to know the topics that are going to be in the book of the law that I'm going to write, that I'm asking for your support for. It doesn't have everything, but it has a lot. Okay, it has a lot. So y'all check that out if you want to know more about it. Oh man, so it went from being sunny to rain now, so I have to leave early because it's going to be hard for me to get to where I got to go because of the rain. All right. Man, thanks. All right. Also, thanks for y'all buying my books, subscribing to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. Everybody's invited on Saturday at 10 a.m. to come to class. The link, 506 The Curses course, that's my live class on Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The links to everything that I talk about are in the description area of this video. Islam to all the Moors, Shalom, and thanks everyone for tuning in.